Today we've got the new Srixon ZXiR and ZXiR HL irons. These are the new game improvement and super game improvement irons from Srixon. Now this is really exciting because it's the first time we're seeing a game improvement iron from Srixon since 2015 and the first ever time that we are seeing a super game improvement iron with the HL models. So we're here at the Fairmont St Andrews. We're going to put these irons to the test. We're going to run you guys through the tech, the data, but I know what you're going to say. I'm a scratch golfer, and so these game improvement and super game improvement irons are not suited to my game. And that's true. But that's also why today we have got some special backup so we can really put these irons to the test. So the addition of the ZXiR and ZXiR HL are supposed to complete the overall ZXi family so that all players of all abilities can find where they fit in to the Srixon lineup. Previously in the ZXi family, you had the ZXi7, which was the player's iron, the ZXi5, which was the player's distance, and the ZXi4, which was the player's development. And also you've still got the utility and the bladed irons. But now we have the ZXiR and ZXiR HL that are set to complete the overall family. There's a lot of tech packed into these irons that Srixon are saying is going to deliver the golfer the ultimate game improvement and super game improvement iron. So first up, and even front and center kind of on the design of the clubs, we can see that we've got this eye alloy. Now this is a new material that Srixon have developed specifically for these irons. It's 10% softer than 431 steel to give golfers exceptional feel at impact, while also still giving feedback, but quieter vibrations. So kind of the idea that it's going to feel somewhat like a forged iron. Some more tech that we can see also written on to the irons is the mainframe. Now, as with all game improvement irons, we're seeing the same thing. We're looking at redistributing the mass so that we can choose where the CG position is and really increasing the forgiveness of these clubs. Now, something that I thought was quite interesting with what Srixon have done here is they've moved the sweet spot to the bottom of the face. And the reason for that is because they've said with thousands of data points from Srixon golfers, they've found that the players that are most likely to be fitting into the game improvement and super game improvement categories, their most likely miss hits are going to be on the bottom of the face. So that mainframe is looking to really protect the ball speeds across the face. It goes all the way around the perimeter to really increase the overall consistency of the ball speeds, but especially if the golfer's going to hit it towards the bottom end of the club face. With game improvement irons, we tend to see quite thick and chunky soles. Now, I wouldn't say that's massively overdone here, but they definitely are a little bit of a wider sole to help with some confidence and just a bit more forgiveness for the golfer. But we still have that ridge, that fold going down the center. It's adding a little bit of bounce. It's going to help with turf interaction and also help the golfer out if they're getting a little bit too steep. In the face of the irons, we've got a different groove pattern depending on where you are in the bag. So with the longer irons in the 4, 5 and 6, we've got wider grooves. But as you go down into the shorter end of the bag, we've got more narrow grooves, getting more grooves on the face to help with spin. We've also got some laser etching in between the grooves. Now that's going to really help with the spin consistency and specifically when it is wet. The idea is that if you're playing in damp conditions or dry conditions, that laser etching on the face is going to help keep consistency between the two. And that's obviously great if you are someone like me and you live in the UK or somewhere else where it rains quite a lot. So let's get right into hitting some shots. Now, I have already been testing these out on the range. We've got a full set of data that I will talk you guys through a little bit later. But for now, we've just put ourselves here on a little par 3. And we're going to see if we can get some shots in close, see if that technology is working in these game improvement irons. Now, I'm going to start off with the standard model. We've got about 140 yards here. This should be about the right club. I've got an 8 iron in my hands. I'll be interested to see the difference between the two and also kind of how it reacts on the greens as well here. Really not a great strike there, but you wouldn't know from the result of it. 91.8 ball speed, 122 carry, spin 5190. That was better. That was much more of a center strike. Look at that. Maybe I should be playing game improvement irons after all. 96.7 ball speed, 130 carry, 5,800. As far as game improvement irons go, like that looks very clean. It looks very crisp. It looks just smaller than you would expect. I don't know. Some golfers might really want that from their game improvement iron. I feel like most would, but you could argue you're losing a little bit of the confidence that you might have in those bigger game improvement irons. But personally, I really, really like the look of this. That was very heely. Okay, we're back to reality a little bit here now. you know what? Given how badly that was hit, the result really is not that bad. Switching over to the HL irons now, I am kind of expecting these to potentially not reach. The lofts on the HL irons are just a little bit weaker, like I said, getting it up in the air. However, Srixon are saying you're not going to lose too much distance because they're going to be easier to hit, easier to launch up. You can definitely see it address. That club face is just more open. You're seeing more of it, which I don't hate. It just gives that illusion of the club being bigger because you can see more of the face. Yeah, you see that one's just come up a little bit short. That was a pretty good shot. That was struck pretty clean. That was a really bad strike, but it's gonna work out. Go, go. That's gonna come up short again. That's fine. Now, I said earlier that I had brought some special backup for today's testing, and I have, and we will get onto that a little bit later in the review. Now, the reason for that is because with my game, with how fast I'm swinging, with where I hit the ball with my swing, I don't always see the benefit when it comes to those slightly thicker, slightly more forgiving super game improvement irons. In fact, I kind of tend to go the other way, and it kind of negatively impacts my game. However, that's just me, and that's because I'm not the target player for these irons. And so I got my mum to come in. She plays off 12.6 handicap. She swings it a little bit slower. I'm struggling with the HL irons. I'm struggling with the ones that are supposed to be more forgiving. I'm losing out on distance. I am seeing some benefits to them there, which we'll come on to in the data, but she was actually seeing better ball flights with the HL irons. Okay, that was a better strike. It's probably still going to come up short. Yeah, that is the difference. We're seeing more spin on the 8 iron with this club than we are with the standard model, whether that's for the lofts or some of the other technology that's in these irons. It's there. It's going to help you out if you struggle to get the ball up in the air and you struggle to control the shots coming into the green. So as we said earlier, in terms of the tech, there is a little bit of a difference as you come up to the longer end of the bag. So I'm going to test out the 6 irons here. Now, on the face, we've got different grooves on the longer irons, kind of trying to prioritize getting all the distance that we can out of the clubs, maybe including a little bit extra on the roll. Whereas on the shorter irons, we're prioritizing that spin, that control around the greens, maybe a little bit more stopping power. So hopefully we can see some good distances coming out here. We obviously don't want to lose all the spin. We don't want to lose all the control. Just trying to kind of find that happy medium between the two. Now, something I feel as though I find sometimes with some of the game improvement irons, because they have that little bit more offset, I sometimes find them to be a little bit too draw biased. Now, that might have been a little bit of the club, a little bit of me, just turning that one over a bit too much to the left. That's much better. Now, I will say, every shot I've hit with these irons, they're very easy to hit. They feel great. They do have a lot of feedback still with them. Game improvement players shouldn't be automatically classed as somebody not wanting to improve. And so having that feedback and knowing where you've hit it on the face is actually still really important. And I like that in these clubs, you've got a good balance of good feel across the face, but still knowing where the strike position is. I think the HL irons feel nicer. I don't know if that's like half psychological, half from the lofts, but I personally really like the feel of the HL irons. I would say that's closer to like the feeling on the irons that I'm used to. So a little bit of a difference there in terms of the feel, but also quite a big difference in terms of what we were seeing on the numbers on the GC quad. So we're going to run inside, we're going to do a full data breakdown between these. We're going to look at both what I was finding and what my mum was finding to really break these two down and find out which could be the right iron for you. So after testing these out on the course, on the range, with the GC quad, we've got a lot to unpack with these irons. Now, before we go any further, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure you've subscribed to the Golf Magic YouTube channel. We've got a lot of reviews coming your way, especially with new gear season right around the corner. So make sure that you've hit that subscribe button and also let us know down in the comments what golf clubs you want to see reviewed on this channel. On to performance. Now, some of the numbers that we were getting back from these irons were exactly as you would expect, based on what Srixon has said these irons are designed to do. However, I was really glad in the end that we actually had 2 different players of 2 different styles testing these clubs out, because it definitely highlighted a few little features that are just really important to bear in mind that we maybe wouldn't have seen with just one person testing these out. Obviously, the HL irons were going higher. That's what we expected. I would say that for me, they were going almost a touch too high at times. They're super forgiving. They're so easy to hit, and they don't really go off left or right with the bad shots. The thing that was happening was that my bad shot with the HL irons was just going high. It was just spinning up on me and then obviously coming down a little bit short because we just killed off some of the distance. Whereas we saw a big benefit for Jill moving into the HL irons on the longer end of the clubs, getting her 6-iron going much further with the HL because it was launching that bit higher and giving her the most out of her carry. The blade length is a bit bigger, it's a little bit wider. Yeah. It should be more forgiving and easier to hit.
Yeah, like that.
So first things first, the standard irons are very solid in terms of distance. We were looking at an average of 113 carry with a pitching wedge, 137 with the 8-iron and 166 with the 6-iron. Now for me, those distances are on the upper end, not so much with the pitching wedge, but definitely as you go into the longer set of the clubs there. 166 carry with a 6-iron is a long ball for me. The only thing I will say there is that the spin rates were okay, generally. So 7,200 on average with a pitching wedge, 5,700 with an 8-iron and 4,700 with the 6-iron. So a little bit on the low side, but that was being matched with lots of distance, really strong numbers there, and a lot of forgiveness. Now, if those spin rates were looking a little bit too low for you, that is okay, because there is the option to move into the HL model where I was seeing, on average, 1,000 RPM more each club compared to the standard model, and that was very consistent throughout the set. Obviously, we're going to see a couple more degrees launch. We know that the lofts are a little bit weaker in the HL model, so that's what we were kind of expecting. And unfortunately, yes, a little bit of a drop off in distance. So 6 to 7 yards on the shorter clubs and up to 20 on the 6-iron. So that wasn't ideal, because I was swinging fast and I'm already getting it up in the air. As I was getting onto the longer irons and I was trying to squeeze out as much distance as I could, that wasn't necessarily resulting in extra distance, it was just resulting in the club going higher. And I think that as an overall idea, is maybe what people expect when club manufacturers are saying, we're going to give you more distance by making the lofts weaker. You're expecting the ball to go higher, and that could result in the distance being dropped off a little bit, which was what I saw. But like I said, there was 2 different types of golfers testing these out. Where I was seeing a big difference in the drop-off between the 2, Jill really wasn't, and obviously she's swinging it that little bit slower and the overall distances are less, so the difference that we'd expect to see would be smaller, but there really wasn't that much between the 2 of them. And as we said, when we got to the longer end of the bag, she could actually hit the HL further than the standard model, which was the complete opposite to what I was finding.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Actually, I like that. Oh, that was good.
They're just getting better and better, aren't they? Her longest and fastest 6-iron of the day was on a HL model with the shot that she launched the highest. So that kind of goes hand in hand with what Srixon are saying about giving players who might struggle to get the ball up in the air a little bit of help, and they're actually going to see the benefit and distance that way rather than giving them super, super strong lofts. So in conclusion, the new game improvement and super game improvement irons from Srixon are stunning and they feel incredible. They're super soft, they're really forgiving. Those HL irons are incredibly soft, incredibly buttery. They almost mimic the feel of a forged face, which I feel is kind of wild to even be saying about this type of club, but honestly, I can see what Srixon are going for with that new eye alloy, and I really love that feel in the HL model. The distances and control overall are really impressive, especially given just how easy these golf clubs are to hit, and we've kind of seen the difference between 2 types of players. So if you're someone with a decent swing speed and you're already happy getting the ball up in the air, you're probably going to get the most out of the Srixon ZXiR standard irons. You're likely going to find some really solid numbers in terms of distance, very forgiving iron with a great feel, but still giving you feedback on the face. Now, if you're somebody who swings it a little bit slower and you're maybe not that confident with your irons and getting them up in the air, I would definitely say to test out the HL model. You're likely going to see a little bit more distance in terms of the overall carry, even with those weaker lofts, launching the ball up in the air and just getting a bit more in the overall carry. Let me know your thoughts on which model you think that you would like to test out from the new Srixon Game Improvement and Super Game Improvement irons, based on what you find most important from your iron game. game? Is it distance? Is it maximum control and spin around the greens? Whatever it is, I think you can find that in both the Srixon ZXiR and ZXiR HL irons. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.